Coming up, he brings the wisdom of thousands of spiritual entities into the physical.
Welcome to Having It All, Lifestyles of the Rich and Conscious with MarBeth Dunn, featuring experts and pioneers in health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality, creating a happier, healthier, wealthier you. And now, here's our host, MarBeth Dunn.
I'm MarBeth Dunn. Welcome to the Having It All Show. I am so excited to have on my show today David Watson, who has been channeling a group of entities called the Willows since 1986 in a style similar to Edgar Cayce or Esther Hicks. Oh, I'm so happy to have you on the show, David. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, MarBeth. It's a real pleasure to be here today, and it's nice to be able to share some of the things that I do with your listeners.
Man, you are amazing. So we're going to get into some good, juicy stuff today. So, David, tell us about channeling. What is it?
I think it's something different to everybody else. Each one of us has an intuitive side to ourselves, that little voice or that little nudge inside of ourselves that, makes us aware. Women have intuition, men have gut feelings, and so on. But it's listening to those feelings and beginning to follow them that is the real beginning of channeling. Because basically what it is the ability to put our conscious problem-solving minds to one side and just open ourselves to the inner voice that comes through us. And that's what a channel is to listen to a voice inside that appears to be separate from you, but connected with everything that you're doing. And as a result, a good channeler learns to put the conscious mind to one side and just allow that kind of information to come through all the time without having to really step in between the information and the questions with intellectual prowess, so to speak, just allowing it to come right through. And I think anybody can channel. I think we all channel. You channel yourself. You channel your personality, your ideas. That's where your spontaneity comes from. That's where our capacity to understand things at a deeper level, our intuitive selves, all comes from that, and our introspective self as well. All comes from that ability to channel. So, and we are channeling ourselves. We're channeling who we are every single day. And as life is an adventure in discovering ourselves, the more we learn about ourselves through our life experiences, the more we come to understand the nature of what it's like to really channel spirit on a physical level. Because quite frankly, I'm a great believer in the fact that we're a physical being on a spiritual journey. A spiritual being on a physical journey,
right?
Because what we're here to do is to bring that spirituality onto the earth plane through the prism, of our conscious mind, and let it break up into the various emotional states that we interact in the world with. And as a result of that, our ability to be happy and to be alive in the world is to bring love into the world with all we do. And to entertain that on a day-to-day basis. That's what real channeling is about. You find that the Willows are very compassionate, insightful, and caring entities that provide a very positive input into many people's lives on an ongoing basis. So it's all about self-empowerment. It's all about letting go of victimhood, not feeling that we're oppressed or controlled by things around us, and we take charge of our own lives and move forward with a positive mental attitude. That's all part of the channeling process. And the more that we do this and the more we entertain this type of energy, the more we become our own person. You see?
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, how do you channel and who are the Willows?
Well, I channel. I just go to sleep. You see, I get paid for sleeping. You see, so it's not bad. But what I do is I started doing this many years ago. I saw an old friend of mine who wasn't a friend at the time, but it was a channeler, do channeling. I had a very unique experience. Saw energy around him, had a very deep experience when he went into level. I knew what he was going to say even before he said it. And I spoke to him and his wife about it afterwards, and they said, "Oh, you better come and see us." And, they had a channeling course that they called the Keys course back in the day. The Keys to the Mind. And after taking the course, we became very fast friends. And in fact, I still know Cliff to this day. Linda passed away about 6 years ago. But, just tremendous human beings and tremendous mentors to help support that spiritual vision of life. What I do is I put the conscious mind to one side. That's the best thing I can describe, simply by focus. It's like a meditative state. And then I just open myself to whatever information comes through. It's a very organic feeling inside. Sometimes, at the beginning of anybody doing channeling, doing it, it's always a conscious type of channeling. And there's always a thought that maybe they're making it up, that it's not real, but after you start allowing that information to come through without trying to analyze it or rationalize it or doubt it, or fight it, and release our sense of disbelief, then we have a much more unique way to allow that energy to come through us, and we can provide positive, informative, and accurate information for people. I'm sure you do it all the time, MarBeth, and as many of your listeners do as well. When we listen to the inner voice, then we're really channeling. As far as the entities are concerned, the Willows are a collective consciousness. They call themselves a soul group. It is a group of entities, but they're not represented as individuals apart from me. I'm represented as something a part of that energy group. And that energy group is part of a larger energy group, which is part of a larger energy group ad infinitum. That is the way that the universe is structured. It's almost on a grid system in that way, And whenever we tie into that, we begin to tie into that eternal state of consciousness. Some of us tie in to bring in emotional information. Some of us tie in to bring scientific information. That's at times you meet certain people, like a Stephen Hawking, for example, who would go deep into a state of mind and just come up with incredible formulas, incredible understandings of the universe, and also of physics as well. Einstein did the same thing, and on the other side, people like Edgar Cayce and Esther Hicks with Abraham, and of course Seth. I'd say probably the most original of all of them.
Jane Roberts, yeah.
Yes, with Jane, and I think it's something that we just have to, it's not for everybody to do. It's okay for us to have an occasional moment. Oh, that was a nice insight. But to step into it on a full-time basis is kind of a really gritty, nitty-gritty, earthy kind of experience. And most people would be more content with accomplishing other things in their lives and just using that as part of their life. But for those of us who do enter into the channeling regions, it's very rewarding and a very positive experience, because it really, in my case, I can only speak for myself, gives me a much deeper understanding of the life process and what my purpose in being here is in the first place, which is really what we're all here to figure out one way or another. We're not here to be lawyers or doctors or steel workers or anything else. That's what we do. It's not who we are, and we're here to have a human experience, and we're here to have an emotional experience, and we're here to have and we're here to make decisions, and everything else kind of grows out of there,
So when you channel, I didn't ask you this before, but I'm very curious. Now, do people come through from who have passed that might be coming through for clients, or is it just the Willows?
I think people who do that more are in the area you call psychics. What I do is I do deep trance work. They used to call us deep trance psychics. I have brought in, people who've passed before. It's not something that I would do. I think you're better off listening to, somebody like the Long Island Psychic for that kind of thing, personally. But there's a technique that the Willows teach, and I learned myself, called center stage, in which we can actually talk to the people who've crossed over by setting ourselves to a very specific kind of process that only takes a minute to set up. And once it's set up, we have a permanent connection with those that we were in connection with who have crossed over, and we can then use that particular process, center stage process, to bring these people into our lives as helpful, as helpful guides to us, and sometimes just for comfort and for for our personal needs, to be fulfilled,
We'll be back to our show in just a moment. Would you agree that the current state of the world is angry, chaotic, turbulent, and possibly insane? And that's not even mentioning everyone's personal issues. We all need miracles, and now is the time. I'm MarBeth Dunn, the Miracle Mama. Imagine a river of miracles flowing into your life, bringing harmonious relationships, better health, prosperity, clarity, peace of mind, and a deep sense of joy. What if you could know all your needs are being met and feel calm and peaceful even in the midst of turbulent change? Get your free guide now, 7 easy ways to harness the power of miracles at miracles101.com. That's miracles101.com and live your miraculous life. So you've been channeling them since 1986. You must have had some amazing experiences. What amazing wisdom have you learned?
I learned that nothing is certain, nothing is carved in stone, everything changes, and the only time that we live is in the eternal moment. And I think those are very important things that I've learned as far as life is concerned. Well, nothing that people don't already know. In other words, expect everything. Don't be surprised by anything. and accept the world around us with positive intention. And that way we don't wind up being controlled by events around us. We wind up being able to take charge of those events and make decisions based on our own vision of life rather than trying to adopt ourselves to somebody else's way of seeing things, I think those are important things that I've learned over the years, and the importance it is of being ourselves and not trying to pretend we're somebody else or to live in a persona, a personality that we present to the world that really isn't accurate as to who we really are. So many of us are forced into living like that because we have the kind of thoughts that I've been discussing about our inner selves and our need for eternal freedom and et cetera, et cetera. But, we're afraid to express it. So we build a kind of a different persona that appears to be normal like everybody else's. But whenever we're challenged with something really big, that persona has a tendency to get cracked and fractured. And we need help at that point, So I think the kind of thing that I'm talking about is learning to be more genuine within ourselves and genuine with who we are as a human being, and to be accepting of those around us without judgment and without the need to feel that punishment needs to be meted out or people need to be, controlled. I think those are big lessons to make, and they seem blatantly obvious when you discuss them, but when you think about the finer parts of them, it's really hard, not to try and control situations or not to try and control the outcome, or and things of that nature. So, I guess the biggest thing that I've learned in my life is to learn how to take charge instead of trying to control the things around me. And that whenever I'm unhappy or I feel frustrated or I feel threatened or afraid, all I have to do is stop for a second and see if I can find a control issue in my life that's triggering that. Whether either it's something I feel that I can't control or I feel something that's controlling me, whether it's a person or a circumstance. And then I will notice the degree of discomfort that I'm experiencing, and I'll realize, that's what it was, a control issue. And instead of trying to solve it, which is what we're all humanly taught to do, I stop in that moment and I go, and I just say to myself, geez, you know what? I forgot that I'm in charge. And the moment I say that, that means that I've released myself from needing to control anything and realizing that I'm really not in control of anything, but that I'm in charge of everything that happens inside of me.
I love that. That's awesome. That's really, really great.
For me, So it's good, and it releases me from a sense of guilt and a sense of shame and those low emotions. I just don't get them anymore. I have to say, I really do, because I know my intentions are positive and that my vision is as clear as I can make it. I can try and make it clearer every day. I don't think there's an end to it, but I just think there's a process to it, Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. And I think it's very helpful. So I think we might have someone who might have a question for you. Are you open? Open for business?
I can go right into trance right now, MarBeth, so that's not a problem. I'll go into trance now, and you know the process. I go into trance, you just, introduce yourself, and then you say, please balance the form.
Dagny's going to come on.
I'm going to go into trance now, MarBeth, okay?
Okay.
So, and you can bring your first guest on.
Okay. Okay, Dagny, say hello.
Hey, thank you, MarBeth. Thanks so much for this opportunity to call in, and hello to the Willows and to David. Please balance the form. My name is Dagny, and
just one moment.
Yes, very good.
Yes, this is in effect this balancing of the form with the agreement of the entity David, and we welcome you and your questions, Dagny. You may now proceed.
Thank you. I have lived numerous psychic and intuitive experiences since I was about 9 years old, and I believe that my general purpose is to assist people in unveiling their own self-actualization in a variety of ways. But sometimes with my own life, I have this kind of Aquarius airflow dance of not seeing my own forest for the trees. And so my question is that in a variety of ways, I believe that my current situation in my location, relationships, the work I'm doing is temporary and, of course, evolving, and that some significant changes are imminent in my life. I'm feeling that intuitively, and I'm excited about that, of course, as I desire my life to be more expansive in a variety of ways, but including specifically financially, which I think can have a tangible effect on those other aspects. And so I know that we all have free will, and like you said earlier, nothing is specifically written in stone. But having said that, I'm wondering if you have any insight that you might share on ways I might gain clarity on where my focus should be. Is there any karmic or other incarnation or some kinds of blocks in my energy that I might want to focus on releasing in order to be more in a state of allowing? Things like that. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and it's a good question because, quite frankly, it's not only you who are challenged by this kind of question, but many of the people who come to speak with us about their life path. It's a sign of a true, what we would call a true traveler. That is one who travels on the road of life, not trying to reach a destination, but understanding that they try to make the path of the journey as intelligent and positive as possible as they walk through life. You see, the thing is for you here, you already know a lot of things, but the thing that you have not really done is listened to what you're saying to others and applying it to yourself. You are a wonderful friend and a wonderful counselor for many people and have helped literally change people's lives, as you well know. They come to you at times with tears in their eyes and great gratitude for the things that you have done and helped them with. So the only thing we would say to you around all of this is you have to take a stop for a moment, look at yourself, and begin to look at yourself as if you were your own best friend. If your best friend was going through some of the situations that you've been going through lately, for example, would you be saying to her the things that you say to yourself? Would you be taking her to task the way you take yourself to task at times? Would you be criticizing her or disapproving of her in some of the ways that you disapprove of yourself? And the answer is no, because first of all, you wouldn't want to hurt her feelings. Secondly, you would try to think of a more positive way to reframe what's happening in her life so she doesn't have to feel that way anymore. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So we would say to you, what are you, chopped liver? You must do this. You must do this for yourself. You see? You start treating yourself as if you were your own best friend. You are a lovely human being, compassionate, deep, empathetic, and all full of wisdom. The difficulty is there's a part of you that does not believe in this. There's a part of you, and this comes from your early childhood, that believes that in fact you have been, shall we say, not adequate to some of the things that you're doing, which is one of the things that's driven you to do the things that you're doing at this point in your life. Not to prove somebody else wrong, but because you're so fascinated by this aspect of consciousness that it's become overwhelmingly attractive to you. But the fact is, you have to look at yourself as the very core of what you're teaching. You would not be teaching other people and helping other people the way you are if you had not done all the work on yourself that you've done. You are your best model, you see? And some of the things that you're being challenged with right now, we joke when we say, what are you, chopped liver? But in truth here, you must begin to treat yourself again with clarity and love. To look inside and realize really who you're dealing with is a young person, a young woman inside of you that was hurt many years ago, that is coming now out in fullness again, and needs at this time great support, and needs at this time the opportunity to express herself more effectively and more succinctly. That is all you need to do at this time, is to listen to this inner voice, to listen to what this young person says, and to treat her with love and respect. When you do this with the things that you are being challenged with, it will greatly turn the corner for you. It will automatically put you into a place where you are very comfortable already, because you're very highly skilled and full of love, and you use it every day in teaching and touching other people's lives. Now all you have to do is give yourself permission to do it for yourself. And you are worth it, no matter what you were told when you were a child. You are definitely worth it. When you look at the number of people you help, and once you've given yourself full permission, that will increase exponentially. That would be nice, would it not?
Oh, that's so good. Absolutely spot on. Thank you so much. That's, spot on.
So remember to love yourself, to treat yourself with love and respect. And be as the entity David did say earlier, that sometimes when you reach a point in your life when you feel frustrated, you must look inside of yourself and say, where's the control issue here? Because when you were a child, you were highly controlled. And that is what is still controlling you. So the moment you find that control, and you can say, now I know I am frustrated. And what you simply do in that moment is just say, I release that old feeling with love. I'm sorry for carrying it around all these years. Please forgive me. And the moment you say that to yourself, you are forgiven. And then you say thank you and move on. And when you do this, you will be divinely happy. Remember, as we say to many people, you are the only problem you will ever have, and you are the only solution. You see? And we would say with a laugh.
Thank you so much.
And only you can prevent forest fires, we say with a laugh, yes?
I love your laugh, by the way. That's fabulous. Thank you so much.
Indeed. So we are complete?
Yes. Thank you.
We thank you for this opportunity.
That was wonderful, David. And the Willows, I'm going to ask our listeners if anyone else has a question to raise your hand with *2. And you can ask the Willows. So, Ontario, is that Ivana?
Yes, it is. Hi, MarBeth.
Hi.
Sure. So, I'm Ivana Valley, and I am a professional speaker, trainer, and facilitator. And I think we've met, David, which is ironic, but that's a different conversation altogether. I guess what I would like to bring to get some support with is just where I am in my life with my relationship. If I don't know if that's too vague, and just to kind of get some wisdom and guidance and direction with that.
Well, it's an artfully vague question, because what kind of relationship are we talking about? A personal relationship with a partner? And if there is a personal relationship with a partner, what is it that you would like to see different?
Perfect. Thank you. So it is a personal relationship with my partner of 9 years. that I'm referring to. And what I'm looking to see different is I'm just not sure where we are and how to proceed moving forward. What I'd like to see different is just a new level of, if it's possible, a new level of connection and love. Like if I guess what I'm really asking is there something here? Or what is there for me to know about where I am in this relationship and moving forward?
Well, you want him to give what you are already giving. You are always giving a new level of love. And the thing that's difficult to accept at times is the fact that another cannot return that because they are not vibrating at the same level of energy and consciousness that you are. You vibrate at an extremely high level, and according to that chart that we made here, be made with power versus force. You see, this is a chart from 1 to 1,000. 1,000 being, you might say, Christ consciousness or Buddha consciousness, and 20 being shame. The average person is at about 225. You are vibrating at about 450. So almost, well, directly at double the average vibrational energy of those about you. Your partner is vibrating at about 275, which is above the norm, but is vibrating still at a lower level, so that when you have to deal with a situation, you are drawn and pulled downward. You have to kind of go deep, you understand, to reach and communicate at that level. And as you've discovered, sometimes it's very deep. It's like you come up after a conversation, it's like you've been holding your breath for an hour. And it is this kind of thing that you have to look at yourself and say, if this is okay with me, then I can continue. But I cannot expect something to be given to me that is unfortunately not yet realized. You cannot make another person realize certain things about life, as you no doubt discovered. And we know that you speak about things like this. There's a certain point when you have to look at things and just say, I either have to maintain the status quo or change my own status quo. And that's what we would say about this situation for you now, without going into great depth at this point. For this is open to public, but more to yourself just to turn around and say, if I am going to maintain a status quo, what do I want to hold? How do I want it to be for me? And how much shall I expect my partner to be able to meet that criteria if it is not capable of doing, or it is not capable of being reached by this person? You see? This is what is to look at and to say, I can't demand more. And it's not that he's stupid or anything else. A very bright person. But at the same time, still holding back because of petty considerations, you might call it, in the life process. So what you want to do is going to be, of course, the natural desire is to negotiate and to try and balance. Not just because of the time involved, but because of the fact that you see the purity in the other soul. But at the same time, you have to look at your own self and say, there are things about my life that I have to find that are going to be working for me. And if I'm going to move forward, how do I want to be? And you have to sit down and plan a future that is going to give you an idea of what it's going to be like. Look at yourself and just say, well, what's going to happen in the next 10 years, positive and negative, that you would like to have happen? So say in the next 10 years you want to include and create your take your skills in your business and your thing to the next level, to awaken more people, to uplift more souls, to bring more people into their own power. This is the thing that we like about what you are doing, because it is in alignment with the kind of things that are necessary in the world today. So many people need this encouragement, and you are so good at doing it. So that we see you doing. But if it is indeed enhanced, or at least not affected by maintaining the relationship the way it is, then that's what you need to look at. as to whether you're going to get these other things. You can wish for them, but they cannot be guaranteed, because it is not what you want from another person. It's what they are capable of giving to you, not just what they want to give to you. They'd like to give more, but can only give so much. You understand?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
And that's
thank you so much.
Part of the reality, as you understand.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you, MarBeth.
That was wonderful. I think that's about all the time we have for now. I would love to go on.
And on. And
on. Any last words of wisdom you'd like to share with our listeners?
We'd just like to thank you for this opportunity to provide information at this time, and trust it will be of benefit to these who are here for their questions. And we would ask them to go forward in peace, love, joy, and harmony, and to continue to walk on the path of the Masters. We send you all great blessings, and we release the form.
Welcome back.
There we are, MarBeth.
All your information is going to be on our show page. You're going to have a special show page with your contact information, your website, and any social media that you have. It'll all be there. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, MarBeth, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future. It's as always, it's a great experience chatting and sharing.
Oh,
thank
yes.
You.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Join MarBeth next week on The Having It All Show, Lifestyles of the Rich and Conscious. Visit TheHavingItAllShow.com now to learn more about MarBeth and her special guests and download your free report.